I have some clarity and some peace around what happened with this person who wanted to date me and led me on for 3 weeks. I have some clarity and some peace because I realize now why I was so upset. And it wasn't because I ever was into him. I wasn't. I was. I saw. I saw a red flag the day I met him, and I didn't want to go out with him, but I didn't know if it was a red flag. And instead of trusting myself and saying this is a red flag, I called one of my friends. I have a lot of friends, so it doesn't matter who it is. And I asked my friend if this was a red flag. And she said, no, it's not. But I wish I would have just asked myself if it was a red flag, because to me it was. She and I have different values and different things are important to us. I value family. I value fathers being there for their children. I value relationships. And I asked for advice from a friend who's never been married, never been in a relationship, has no children, thinks fathers aren't important. Children don't really need fathers. And so to her, it wasn't a red flag. If I had just listened to myself and said, well, here's the situation. This person, when I met him, told me that we couldn't go out for a few more weeks because his kids were coming to visit. I'm like, they live out in another state. So I said immediately, to me, that's a huge problem. Why would you move away from your kids? Now, if some of you might think it's not a problem, to me, that's a huge freaking problem. You've heard me talk about kids, families. I have a parenting playlist on YouTube. It's not finished. I'm going to keep making more videos, but I've got 2 videos in there already. I'm a mother. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I value family life. And I really believe that children need both of their parents. I would have never, ever, ever, ever left the city or the state where my kids are. And there are many fathers who feel the same way. In fact, one of my other friends who's been in an on-off again relationship with her boyfriend, every time they split up and they're getting ready to split up again, they always put the child first. And neither one of them will move without the other because they value their child having both parents. Even though they're fighting all the time and they're going to split up, their kid comes first. They're going to get houses next door. That's what some people do. But there are other people who are not able to do that. I've also known other people where they're so hostile and their breakups are so hostile that they hate each other so much they use the kids against each other. And one person will fight for custody, get it, and then prevent the other person from seeing the kids. And that's because these people are very hostile and very hateful. I went through a divorce. It was amicable. I was not in love. I was mad at my husband for years afterward. It took me years to forgive him, but it was amicable. I filed at the courthouse. It was friendly. It was amicable. We didn't fight over custody. Our youngest was in high school, and we just decided he could come and go as he pleased. We don't want drama, but there's some people who can't get along with their exes, and I think that's a problem. So my point being, this is for all you ladies too. Why this is a huge red flag. A man who has moved away from his children, unless he's in the military, and even then I don't think that's good either, but okay, is a problem. Because he's probably not getting along. If he doesn't have half custody, either he has some kind of big issue that the courts didn't give him custody, half custody, or he has a very hostile relationship with his ex. Do you want to date a man like that? I don't. And if he is a good father, which I think this guy was really into his kid, I think he just couldn't get along with his ex, whatever his issues are. Being out of state from your kids is a very difficult life. Now there's a court battle. It's a messy person. That person has a lot of freaking baggage, fresh baggage, ongoing baggage that's in his life constantly. Because there's a hostile ex, there's a custody battle, or he doesn't give a shit about his kids. To me, that was a red flag. But I was like not sure. I should have just trusted myself. That's how I got my peace. That I saw the red flag, and I told myself driving home from the gym, what would I have liked to hear that would have soothed my heart? It would have been, Sharzad, you value families. Just talking to myself, if I were talking to Sharzad, you value families. You value relationships. You value a mother and a father present for the child. This man doesn't have that. So he's not for you. And I could have just texted him and said, thank you for the asking me out. I just don't think we're a good match. And that would have been the end. But I think I was so upset because I took my friend's advice. It's not her fault. I learned something. She told me that kids don't need a father. She didn't have a father, so kids don't need a father. She did just fine. I don't want to bash her. Obviously, she's never been in a relationship, so I don't think she did just fine, but nonetheless. And she said people move for work all the time. He probably had to move for work. See, to me, that those are unacceptable. Children need a father, and you don't move away for work. I don't care what you have to do. You don't abandon your children and move out of state. But I took her advice, and so then I was kind of left in this limbo, which wasn't like embodied with me. And, his weaknesses kept coming up, his unavailability. And those things, that's why his life is a mess. That's why his kids are out of state and he can't see his kids because of the internal issues he has. So I really think we've got to look at people's lives. We've got to look at people's lives to see if their lives are in order. Because it's not just saying a sentence, this guy has kids out of state, or this guy doesn't get along with his ex. Those are not just words. Those result from who that person is being. Those result from who that person is being. And those result from who that person is when he's not texting you. That's his life. My life is in order. For me, anyway. So I want to just have friends whose lives are in order. The other thing I learned is that I need to be careful who I ask for advice, because sometimes when I share my feelings with people, a lot of people have trouble. A lot of people have trouble with feelings, including my friend. And me too sometimes. That's why I suck at coaching. Because I'm like, this is your problem, snap out of it. And that's what a lot of people do. Some of you have done it in the comments, some of you haven't. But if I come with a problem, I'm upset about this, someone might just say, well, just forget about it, move on. You didn't like him anyway. Don't dwell on the past. That does not help. There are other people who are much better to be present with someone's feelings. And those are the people I'm going to go to from now on. I'm going to practice next time going to different people when I have a problem like this. And I have two people in mind. And what is my friend Tranquility? I'm outing you now. I'm going to try out my friend Tranquility because she's good with her emotions. She has a YouTube channel. And another family member. Because all someone has to say is, wow, that must be really hard. Or, yeah, he doesn't seem to be a good family person for you. All someone has to say is that. But I have been having a hard time doing that with people because just of my own habits. All someone has to do is say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's really hard. How does that feel for you? And that's instantly relieving. But so many of us suck at that. I guess I'm afraid if I tell you that must be so hard or how do you feel, that I'll have to listen to some sob story because in the past someone gave me a sob story. But that's not how most people are. Most people are just like, they feel hurt and then they feel relaxed. Because what got me so worked up yesterday wasn't that the guy blew me off. It was how my friend responded to me. That's what got me all upset. That's what got me all upset. Her telling me, well, now you're just dwelling on it. Have you heard of Byron Katie? Is this really true? You know, she was trying to help me, but it wasn't helping. It was just making me more defensive and more resistant. And I was trying to see where I lost my power. And I think that different friends are good for different things, honestly. You know, some friends might be more good for talking about this topic. Some friends might be more good for going out to dinner. Some friends might be more good for having drinks. Some friends might be more good for, you know, talking about politics or the economy. I don't think that too many people are good with emotions or advice. And sometimes I think I need to listen to my own advice and not ask other people what's a red flag. Another thing I noticed is that the first time he canceled that date, he did it in a way that wasn't authentic, and I felt this whoosh energy, and I judged myself for it. Some things that come up for me is, oh, I should be okay with this. I should make an excuse for this. Well, things come up. And I'm going to honor that from now on. I'm going to honor that from now on. Because it's telling me something. It's a signal. So I found my peace. I found my peace with it. And next time what I'm going to try on, instead of asking someone else, is this a red flag? I'm going to ask myself. If that's a red flag for me, it might not be a red flag for her. She might date a guy like that. But it's a red flag for me. And that's what matters. I have to trust myself more. And that's sometimes the difficulty I run into. Like, am I just being too picky? Is that why that's why I don't date? Because I'm too damn picky? But I think the world is full of wounded people. I think the people that have their lives decently together stay married. I was married 25 years. But there are a lot of people out there who are having kids. They never got married. That's already a red flag. Or they split up after 5 years or 10 years. That's already a red flag. To me, it creates instability in their lives. They have unstable lives. Now they have an ex and custody situations, and their lives are just messy. My life isn't messy. I don't want messy. I judge myself because I'm single and I'm comfortable and I like being alone, as if that's wrong. You know, like, what am I doing wrong or something? But my life works for me and it's peaceful. You know, when I divorced my ex-husband, I waited to tell my dad until a few months later, and I told him, you know what he said to me? He said, you'll never find someone better than him. And I was pretty unhappy with his walled off emotional unavailability. And I decided, and I thought, I'll certainly find someone better than him. But I haven't. I haven't found anyone better than him. But I don't want him. I was way too unhappy with him. So I would rather be alone till the day that I die than be with someone like him. But my new standard is going to be someone like my ex-husband, but not walled off. And I haven't met anyone better than him. My mom loves him. My kids love him. You know, he was a good guy. And there's so many guys out there that are not good like him. There's so many divorced women that I hear, they were married 25 years, but they were married to a piece of shit. They were not good guys like my ex-husband. They were either like abusive or alcoholic or narcissistic or controlling. I didn't have any of that. I had a pretty decent guy. My next guy has to be at that level. And I make excuses like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if this person's life is in flux. Yeah, it does. It does matter. It does matter. Because when people's lives are in flux and they're not stable, they bring all that chaos and drama with them. They're not even able to keep a date. By the way, for all I know, this guy was married. So I never felt he was vetted. I'm like, I wouldn't have gone to his house. Anyway, the point being that I always think that there's a red flag in the beginning. And I have fun with that. What was that red flag? You know what my red flag was? Not trusting myself and asking someone for advice who had never been in a relationship. Asking the wrong person for advice, not trusting myself. That was my red flag. And I didn't allow myself to honor the red flag that I saw. I have an amicable relationship with my ex-husband. We're not friends, but if there's something involving the kids, we talk about it. He replies to my texts, or I reply to his texts. It's amicable. We're not friends, though, okay? We're not friends. I don't want to be friends with him, but it's amicable. He never, after the divorce, he's never said a bad word about me. Whereas I wrote the book, I've made videos about him, I was upset with him. He's never said a bad word about me. I want a guy who's better than him. Else, I'd rather be single till the day that I die. And guess what? I don't want a dog. I just don't want to have to do anything for anyone. I don't. I'm kind of selfish. But anyway, so that's just what I wanted to share with you guys. So I think it's good to have standards, you guys. I think it's good to have standards and to vet people and to look for people whose lives are in order. I think it's important to only date people or get advice from people whose lives are in order, emotionally and relationally. And I'm going to start trusting myself more. Yeah. I wish I would have just listened to myself and been like, yeah, I'm not going to date a guy who doesn't have, who lives out of state from his kids. To me, that's a deal breaker. Not even one date. Because he just brings, people like that just have too much chaos in their lives. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to be part of that. This is a super long video. Yeah. One of the things that has been a weak point for me, that has caused me pain with men, has been trying to be okay with, making excuses for. And they were never bad things like beating me or cheating on me or alcoholic or anything weird, being jobless. But it was always bullshit. Like, a lot of people run bullshit. They lead you on, they're not reliable, they're inconsistent, they got chaos in their lives aren't in order. The world is full of people's lives aren't in order. And their relationships are therefore not in order either. And they're not good for dating or for friendship. And I try to be understanding or make excuses, not for people who don't have jobs or are alcoholics or narcissists or whatever. But I have my own little brand. Well, this person seems nice, you know. But I think we have to be just have very high standards and very high requirements. So, even with my friends, you know, I have friends here. I asked some friends yesterday if they want to get together. A lot of my friends, I call them friends because we're friendly. I don't see them very much. They're very busy. They're always doing this or doing that or doing that, or they don't feel well, or they got work, or they got a seminar, or now someone's in town, or they're out of town, or, you know, they got their kids. Like, not that many people actually want to get together. You know, that's just how the world is. Not that many people want to get together. So I'm trying, but ultimately, I hate to say this because my therapist is going to tell me I have needs shame or whatever. I went to a few people with my needs and they let me down. They were not good people to have my needs met with. But ultimately, when I don't go to anyone with my needs and I'm just home by myself, I feel at peace. I feel at peace. Of course, I like talking to my kids. My kids are great. My kids are great. And I will say, I'm going to give another shout out to Tranquility. Because every time I've talked to her on the phone, I have never felt upset. Ever. With my kids, I don't get upset. But there's certain people I talk to, they upset me. Because they argue with me, or they try to make me wrong, or they tell me what to do. And or they blow me off, or they're too busy. And these are people who mean well. I'm not saying that they're trying to hurt me, but that's just the nature of relationships. Not all relationships are soothing to the soul. That's what I think, that's what's coming to me now. I want to talk to people who are soothing to the soul. And I have people like that who are soothing to the soul. I want it to feel soothing to my soul. And that's maybe a good criteria for dating. Does this feel soothing to the soul? That's going to be my new criteria. Does this feel soothing to my soul? And with that guy, it would have been no, it doesn't. I wouldn't even have had to ask anyone. I was just so glad someone finally asked me on a date, because I make all these videos like guys never ask women out. And I was like, ooh, someone actually asked me out in person. I was at this event and he came up to me and started talking to me and asked me out. I'm like, huh, someone's actually asking me out. That's kind of cool. But it wasn't soothing to my soul. I'm going to call this video, is this person soothing to your soul? I want to feel that right now. Soothing to my soul. Soothing to my soul. Is this soothing to my soul? Because I need to release all this tightness in my chest. I had a hard time at the gym today. I just couldn't get a really deep breath. I still had all this pressure in my chest. So I was doing all this thing, you know, to release it and like soothing to my soul. Let's let it relax. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video, you guys. And one more thing, if you feel upset or something, you know, I was doing this thing to my heart. Well, I woke up at 4 in the morning. I was still upset, and I did this, like, because I felt all this tension in my chest area from being upset. And I just started smiling. Like, it kind of seems like it releases it. You know, if you're upset or something, move your body, touch your body, make noises, you know, to let the tension out. And I listened to Adyashanti, and he's talking about letting go. If you don't want to let go for yourself, let go for the world, and looking forward, you know. Anyway, I think I've talked long enough. I need to go take a shower and get some things done today. Thank you for watching my video.